I'm racing against the melt. I'm racing against the temperature.
Alex Debogorski rose to fame with the help of the show Ice Road Truckers, but with the show ending in 2017, no one has really seen or heard much from him.
You know, things can go to hell really quick.
At one point, there was a rumor that he even passed away, but that isn't the case. Actually, his son tragically passed away in a devastating house fire. So what really happened to Alex, and what is his life like these days? The answer is honestly pretty insane. On its premiere date on June 17, 2007, Ice Road Truckers made history by being the most watched original television broadcast on the History Channel since the channel began in 1995. The show received well over 3 million views, and right in the center of its helm was Alex, a Canadian ice road trucker living in Northwest Canada who built a lifelong career as an ice road trucker. Ice Road Trucker went on to last for about 10 years before its last episode aired in November 2017. This wasn't supposed to be the plan, but somehow it was what happened. And crazy enough, Alex, who most people considered to be the lead of the show, never knew that this was going to happen. Imagine working with someone for a whole decade, and then all of a sudden, they decide that they aren't going to work with you anymore, and they don't even tell you to your face. It's crazy, right? But this is exactly what happened to Alex, and he made this known with a post he made on Facebook in 2018. In not so nice words, Alex explained that you would think that these Hollywood people would at least call him to let him know that they were done, but they didn't. At first, the cancellation of the show started as rumors. Apparently, this particular bit of information came from an insider after they had completely made up their minds that the show wouldn't return no matter what. But then get this, when someone asked on the show's Facebook page if the show would continue, they replied by saying that they weren't sure yet if the show would return, but that they were keeping their options open. It's crazy to think that they would say this when they had already made up their minds that the show definitely wouldn't go on. It's almost as if they wanted to throw everyone off guard. Or maybe they wanted to avoid the backlash that would come with them canceling the show for no reason. I mean, if you really think about it, they never really gave a reason why the show was canceled. Although word on the street was that the show was having low ratings and they couldn't afford to keep it rolling. Now, following the abrupt end of his show in 2017, Alex is still doing what he knows how to do best: ice road trucking. But this time he isn't doing it in front of cameras. Now, Alex might be an ice road trucker through and through, but this isn't something that he still does all the time. Apart from the obvious reason that ice road trucking can only be done when there is ice, so obviously it only happens during the winter. Age also isn't on Alex's side. So since his show ended, he's found other ways to occupy his time when he isn't on the road. For starters, Alex is now quite the public figure. I mean, this makes perfect sense since he's built the audience he's gotten from ice road truckers, and it's only fair he uses it after all. Alex is now a public speaker at events and also does a bit for the radio. He even has his own program called Tail Lights where he tells stories about his time on the road. Obviously, with one glance at Alex's life, it's easy to see that he is in a pretty comfortable and happy place. But this hasn't always been the case. There was a time when Alex almost lost his life from a risk of having a heart attack. Because of this, he had to slow down on a list of things and make tons of changes to his lifestyle to make sure that this never happened. For the most part, he's been doing a pretty great job, but some situations affect you no matter what, and you just can't change no matter how hard you try. And a sad example of one of these situations was the passing of one of Alex's sons, Andrew, in 2019. Just like his father, Andrew was pretty well known in their hometown of Yellowknife. Unfortunately, he was diagnosed with an advanced case of ALS in 2019. And if you don't know what this is, ALS is a condition that makes it almost impossible for you to move your muscles. And in Andrew's case, he was more or less incapable of doing everything for himself and needed as much help as he could get from others, which is why when a fire broke out in his home, he couldn't make it out on his own. When this fire happened, Andrew was home alone with his wife and baby. Now, although Andrew couldn't exactly talk, he had a machine that did the talking for him. So when the fire broke out, he asked his wife to find their baby and get to safety, and this meant that there was no one else to save Andrew. And by the time his wife found their baby and ran for safety, it was too late for Andrew. Still, after getting to the hospital, the doctors tried their best to make sure Andrew survived, but after about 30 minutes of trying, they announced that Andrew had passed away. To date, Alex and his family still have regrets about letting Andrew stay with only his wife. If there had been one more person available, maybe Andrew wouldn't have passed away when he did. This is something they all still struggle to come to terms with, especially Alex. Even though he horrifically lost his son, Alex is still trying to focus on the good memories he has. A good number of them come from his days on the road. According to Alex, as far as life on the road as an ice trucker goes, some days are good and some days are bad. In his words, it's like a lot of other jobs, and he isn't wrong there. But unlike some other jobs, people loved watching Alex and other ice road truckers do what they do best. According to Alex, there are two reasons why everyone loved watching ice road truckers. For starters, the scenery was different. I mean, the show was filmed in a part of the world that most people are fascinated with, but don't quite dare to explore. And for those that actually dare to explore, most of them get too scared to go back a second or even a third time. And then there's the fact that the show had a perfect mix of characters that kept everyone on their toes. Either way, Alex is done with this part of his life, and from the looks of things, he's completely moved on. But would this have been the case if Ice Road Truckers wasn't canceled when it was? What do you guys think about this? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments.